Hello everyone and welcome back. Nice to see you again and hope you're all doing well. My name is Anas and in today's video I want to show you how to use the concatenate function in Excel. So the concatenate function is a very useful function in order to join two or more than two different texts or strings. So this is going to be very helpful if you, for example, have a very long table and you want to join certain text or certain words together. In this case, the concatenate function will serve you very well and will save you some time. So without further ado, let's learn how to use the concatenate function. Alright, so to use the concatenate function, you have to come in and select the cell that you want to add or to join the text or the strings in, and you have to start with an equal sign. Again, every time you start with an equal sign in Excel, you are telling Excel at that point that you are going to be using some sort of function. And in this case, I want to type the concatenate function, and here it comes first. This is the concatenate function. It tells you that it joins several text strings into one text string. So this is the benefit of using concatenate. I will double click on the name to make Excel fill this for me, and at this point I have to specify the cells or the address of the cells that I want to join together. In this case, I will select the first instance or the first cell right here. I will add the semicolon and choose the second cell and hit the enter key, and right away you can see that Excel have made it and joined those two words and those two, the first and the last name, together, giving me here the full name. Okay, however, you can see that by default it is not going to be adding the space between the words. So for that I have to add it manually, and to do that I will double click on the cell to bring me back the function that it contains, and in between these two cells I will add a space right here. So I will add, for example, a space, so a string that contains a space. I will put it between these two symbols to indicate that I'm using a string, and I will put this space right here and hit the enter key, and right away you can see that we have made it and we have added that space between the two names. Now it is just a matter of clicking and grabbing that fill handle and filling all the other names just like this, and you can see that Excel made it, and Excel successfully filled all those names and joins all those names accordingly and correctly. It is also possible to just click or double click on the fill handle and it will fill all the rest of the cells for you automatically. So this is the first example. The other method is to go to insert, and here you can, let's delete this function right here. We go to insert and it adds that equal sign automatically, and here we can switch from all or the most recently used functions to the functions related to text, and here we can see that concatenate function. So here is the same function, but this time we have accessed it using a different method. Okay, so one last thing I want to show you is that I can add the space right here using a different method. So instead of adding it manually like this, I can add a reference to, for example, this cell to other cell. You can choose whichever cell you prefer. For example, I will use this right here. So now I have the reference to that cell, and if I hit the enter key, I'm getting that same behavior or that same result I got previously. So I don't have any spaces right here, but now since I have that reference to that cell, the L1, I can now add that space in that cell instead. So if I add that space, it will be added right here as well, since this cell is referencing, the L1 is referencing the content that is available in this L1 cell. So this is referencing the address of the L1 and whichever it contains. So if I add whichever that I like right here, it is going to be added automatically to that cell. But since I just want a space, I have added a space right here and hit the enter key, and that was added here as well. But this time, if I use that fill handle option, it is not going to work. Why is that? Now, the problem here lies in the relative versus the absolute reference to the cell. So this is the relative versus the absolute subject that is happening right here. So this is, you can see that this is referencing the L1, but when it comes to the next cell, it is referencing the L2. So this is the L1. Now it is referencing the cell that comes after, and we don't want that. We only want this to be the L1 to be referenced along the cells that we select or we fill in right here. And in order to do that, I'm going to hit the Control Z to go back and to undo what I've just done. And in this case, I'm going to double click to access my function. And here I'm going to convert this relative reference. Now it is to relative. I will convert that to absolute. And to convert that to absolute, you have to just add the $sign. So I will add the $sign twice here, and I will explain why I have done this. So I have added the $sign between the column reference here so that we fix the movements of that column. So now it will not move across the columns. And we also added that $sign to the rows. This is why I have added it before 1 to fix it along the rows as well. So now it's fixed in both or across both directions, across the columns direction and across the rows direction. And now if I hit the enter key and if I fill in those next cells, you can see that now it worked successfully and Excel managed to join the words together using that same reference to that same space used or contained in this L1 cell. So you can see that whichever, or even if I select the other cells right here, the other full names, you can see that the reference to that L1 is the same right here across all these cells. This is not changing at all. The only things that change is the reference to the first name as well as the reference to the second name, and hence we get the results that we want. But the reference to the L1 is still the same because we logged that using the absolute or using that $sign, which means that now this cell is becoming absolute and it is not going to change at all across all the cells. So all the cells are going to be referencing that same cell. Okay, I hope you understand this. So these were two different methods to add that space between the words. Again, we have discussed how to use the concatenate. The concatenate function is very useful, especially if you have a very long table and you want to join certain text or certain words or certain strings together. This will help you very much. So if you like this video, please like and share it, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification icon so that you never miss any of my videos. And if you have any comments or questions, drop down below and I will answer all of those as soon as possible. So have a good time and see you in an upcoming tutorial.